Articles of Impeachment. Article 1, disregard of official.
Day 3 of Ken Paxton's impeachment trial is currently underway. I'll have everything you missed at the top of the show. Plus, Northwest Campus Police are issuing a crime warning after reports of sexual assault. Thank you so much for joining us here on the NewsFeed at 4. I'm Isabel Price, and there are lots of stories for us to get to. But first, we have to start in our state capital, where suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton's impeachment trial is entering its third day.
Articles of Impeachment. Article 1, disregard of official duty, protection of charitable organization. While holding
The articles against Paxton, which he has pled not guilty to, were all upheld by senators after Paxton's team filed motions to drop the articles. Day 1 was centered around each side presenting their case, as both were given an hour for opening statements. Paxton was absent for Day 2, where witness Ryan Bangert voiced his concerns with Paxton's actions.
I was deeply concerned that the name and authority and power of our office had been, in my view, hijacked to serve the interests of an individual against the interest of the broader public.
Bangert is set to continue his testimony today as Day 3 is currently underway. We're activating our new TCC tracker today with a crime warning at TCC's Northwest Campus. Campus police received a report of an alleged sexual assault. Upon initial investigation, the incident is reported to have occurred on Tuesday, August 22nd, in the north side parking lot between 7 and 8 in the morning. Information is very limited at this time, but we do know that the suspect was described as a white male, blonde with blue eyes, wearing shorts and driving a small blue vehicle, possibly a van. This is a perfect reminder to always be aware of your surroundings, and if there is ever an emergency, there are blue telephone boxes stationed around every campus that students can access. In August 2023 issue of 287 North Living, TCC Northwest President Zarina Blankenbaker is recognized as a woman of influence for inspiring empowerment and service. The article hailed her journey as, quote, one that exemplifies the power of resilience, dedication, and a profound commitment to education and service, end quote. In reaction to the article, Blankenbaker said she is honored to be recognized for her passion and purpose in serving the community, and goes on to say that she is excited to model the way for others to serve with humility. The first Tarrant County Youth Poet Laureate for 2023 was recently named in a ceremony hosted at TCC Trinity River. April Lynn Pelton, a teen author and poet passionate about sharing her love for reading and writing with others, received the award. She has written and published 3 books: An Enchanted Tale with a Twist, I Am, I Can, I Will, and The Grove of 100 Wishes. She is currently working on several books, with a soon-to-be-released poetry book that she worked on with her grandfather, who is also a writer and poet. She will go on to compete regionally and nationally. Last night, roughly 3,000 people gathered outside TCU's Frog Fountain for a private vigil for a student who was killed last week in what is nothing short of a random act of violence. TCU junior Wes Smith was fatally shot around 1 a.m. last Friday outside a bar on West 7th. This comes as Fort Worth police have reported a concerning spike in crime on West 7th, promoting an increase in patrol units before Smith's murder. This increase in patrol led to police locating and detaining Matthew Purdy, who admitted to shooting Smith, but was unable to provide a motive. It seems like we can't have one extended holiday weekend without tragedy.
We saw chaos. There were kids everywhere, and just screaming, crying. One kid was laying on the ground and he got taken by ambulance. It was just really sad. And then another guy here was laying on the ground. He was just drunk. They were so drunk they couldn't even stand up.
That was a Galveston neighbor describing a horrific shooting that left 2 people dead and more injured at a house party. Police have confirmed that 20-year-old Jordan Conception and 21-year-old Brian Darden were killed. No arrests have been made as the investigation is still ongoing. Police are urging citizens to contact Galveston Police if they have any new information about the incident. Coming up next, prosecutors appear to be closing in on Hunter Biden. Plus, how did a Pennsylvania prisoner escape by crab walking?
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
I surrender.
All right, pal. Get ready for the day, buddy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
I don't remember how it started.
Go to Dad.
Oh, boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio has been sentenced to 22 years in prison on several charges, including seditious conspiracy. This marks the longest sentence handed down in a case stemming from the January 6th attacks. During the sentencing hearing, federal judge Timothy Kelly called Tarrio the ultimate leader of the conspiracy and called Tarrio's actions a complete crime of terrorism. Tarrio's defense team says they respectfully disagree with the judge's sentencing decision, hinting an appeal will be filed. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken made a surprise visit to Kyiv yesterday morning as Ukraine's counteroffensive against Russian forces continues to escalate. Laura Aguirre has more on that surprise visit and what's ahead.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken arriving at the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv early Wednesday. His visit unannounced. His message very clear.
We will continue to stand with Ukraine so that it has what it needs to defend itself, to deal with the current Russian aggression, that it's prepared for the future.
The trip comes as Ukraine's counteroffensive against Russia enters its fourth month.
This is part of the administration's attempt to convince Republicans not to abandon Ukraine at a moment where I would argue this offensive is no longer grinding on, but actually breaking through.
Breaking through in villages like Robatne on the southern front, where Ukrainian forces repelled Russian troops just days ago. Each victory short-lived, however. Hours before Secretary Blinken's arrival, a Russian missile hit a market in Ukraine's east, killing at least 17 people, one of the deadliest attacks in months.
We're announcing new assistance totaling more than $1 billion in this common effort. In total, we committed over $43 billion in security assistance since the beginning of the Russian aggression.
Depleted uranium munitions that can pierce armored plates like those on tanks are part of that package.
The United States is committed to empowering Ukraine to write its own future.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
According to a new court filing, Special Counsel David Weiss intends to seek an indictment against President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, relating to gun charges by the end of the month. Hunter Biden had previously reached a plea deal in June involving a gun possession charge that would have allowed him to avoid prosecution if he met certain conditions over a 24-month period. That agreement also included Biden promising to plead guilty to a pair of tax misdemeanors and avoid jail time. But once the deal fell apart in July, in a court hearing, the future of the gun charge had been in limbo. In Atlanta, 61 protesters and activists have been indicted on racketeering charges. They are part of a movement to stop construction of a planned public safety training center, which they call Cop City, in Forest area. Some of the protesters have engaged in violence, including throwing Molotov cocktails. And a 26-year-old protester was killed in January after state troopers say he fired at them first. State Attorney General Chris Carr announced the indictments on Tuesday.
If you come to our state and shoot a police officer, hurl Molotov cocktails at law enforcement, set fire to police vehicles, damage construction equipment, vandalize private homes and businesses, and terrorize their occupants, you can and will be held accountable.
Carr goes on to say that most of the defendants are members of a group called Defend the Atlanta Forest and has described them as anarchist, anti-police, and an anti-business extremist organization. We're covering the latest developments in the massive week-long manhunt for escaped Pennsylvania killer Danilo Calvante. Newly released surveillance video shows Calvacante crab walking his way up a wall and out of the prison yard. CNN's Danny Freeman has the latest on the escape.
New video showing the moment convicted murderer Danilo Cavalcante escaped a Pennsylvania prison last week. The 5-foot, 120-pound inmate extended his arms and legs against a narrow section of the exercise yard before crab walking up the wall to the roof and dropping down on the other side. Cavalcante then pushed through multiple layers of razor wire to escape the Chester County prison.
While we believe the security measures we had in place were sufficient, they've proven otherwise, and we move quickly to enhance our security measures.
County officials say this escape is nearly identical to another inmate's escape at the exact same spot just 4 months ago. Court documents obtained by CNN describe how that inmate also climbed a wall in an exercise yard and, quote, pulled himself onto the roof of the prison. But the tower guard on duty flagged the inmate. Within 5 minutes, he was caught. That did not happen last week.
The tower officer did not observe nor report the escape. The escape was discovered as part of the inmate counts that occurs when inmates come in from the exercise yard.
The tower officer has been put on administrative leave, and the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office is investigating. Meanwhile, pressure continued to build Wednesday to catch Cavalcante.
I think that it's a very challenging area.
1 week on, the search perimeter has been rapidly expanding. On Monday night, Cavalcante was caught on camera in a botanical garden. On Tuesday night, another sighting by a resident in a creek bed, but this time, no video.
Everything that I'm able to see, the various sightings that we've had, other aspects of this investigation lead me to believe that he is still there in that area.
Hundreds of officers, dogs, drones, and helicopters continue to search. Police have created roadblocks, checkpoints, and often issuing warnings.
If you see this individual, do not approach him.
Fear gripping the community, especially for Sarah Brindau. It was her sister that Cavalcante was convicted of murdering in 2021. You know, with that feeling of fear, of insecurity, she told CNN, fear of him showing up here at home.
As of right now, that Texas heat is still beating down on us, but are some states already feeling like winter? Find out after this.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. As veterans, we can tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. But you've never been interested in easy. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Summer isn't even over yet, and it's already starting to feel a lot like winter in parts of Utah after getting a good dusting of snow on Labor Day. Doreen DeBrule shows us how some enjoyed the moment.
Some spent Labor Day enjoying the sights, smells, and sounds of Oktoberfest. Others others took a ride through the clouds on the Snowbird tram to see snow.
We saw that they posted about it, so we hopped in the car. Yeah, had to come up and see it for ourselves. We always chase the first snow of the season, and we're so happy.
We're from Jacksonville, Florida, and we were not expecting it.
No.
And the snow didn't disappoint first-timers.
I couldn't believe it. Like, when my feet sunk in, I was like, oh.
Yeah, she like stepped in it, and we just like kind of screamed. Oh my God.
She immediately threw a snowball at me.
Oh yeah, of course.
Within seconds.
I think I've thrown a snowball at everybody here.
Or locals.
So excited that it's snowing and that winter is here, even if just for a day or two.
As you can see, Hidden Peak at Snowbird got such a nice dusting of snow, but this isn't the only place in the state that saw some powder. Bald Mountain Pass and the high Uinta Mountains had a layer of snow covering the road Monday morning.
This isn't unusual. We'll see snow anywhere from late August into mid-September is our first official snow up in those really high elevations.
Christine Cruz, lead meteorologist for the National Weather Service in Salt Lake City, says Monday's high elevation snow is not indicative of a snowy upcoming winter.
So far it's equal chances. We're going to have to watch to see how the jet stream sets up, where high pressure sets up off the Pacific coast. And see, like last year we were in that storm path the entire winter.
So for now, snow enthusiasts are enjoying a winter tease.
The weather in Utah is such that you never expect or don't expect anything. Certainly surprising, but you know, it snowed early September a couple of years ago, and lightning struck twice.
At Snowbird, Darian DeBrule, Fox 13 News, Utah.
We're looking forward to some of those cooler temperatures. Victor, what do you have for us in our 5-day forecast?
Let's look at our current conditions. Current conditions are 104 with a high of 106, and we are currently under an excessive heat warning with nearly high record temperatures currently sitting in the triple digits. Current conditions in our area: Seymour sitting in a burning 105, Denton 104, McKinney 102, Dallas 103, Athens 100, and Longview sitting at 99 degrees. Looking at our hour by hour, at 8 p.m. tonight, we will still be in the triple digits, sitting at 100 degrees. 10 p.m. down to 94, and by midnight we'll be down to 91 degrees. At our weekend forecast, all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, expect bright and sunny days, with a low of 78 degrees for Friday and our highest at 107 degrees. My recommendation is either you are by the pool this weekend or in front of the fan staying cool. Saturday morning will be around 75 degrees with a high of 99. Sunday, a low of 73 degrees and a high of 97. Monday, our lowest will be 71 with a high of 91. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you might want to have that umbrella ready to go by the door. We're currently on a 40% chance of rain with a low of 70 degrees. For Tuesday, a high of 87, and Wednesday, a high of 88 degrees. Thursday and Friday will be a little refreshing with 68 degrees and a high of 79. And for Friday, the lowest will be our 69, partially cloudy, with a high of 85 degrees.
Thank you so much, Victor. Sorry. A federal judge has ordered Texas to remove those floating barriers in the Rio Grande. Governor Greg Abbott has argued that they are meant to deter migrants from crossing into the state from Mexico. But in a lawsuit, the Justice Department alleged Texas and Abbott violated the Rivers and Harbors Appropriation Act by building a structure in U.S. waters without the permission of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And the DOJ has sought an injunction to bar Texas from building additional barriers in the river. The judge ordered Abbott to take down the barriers at its own expense by September 15th. Here is yet another reason driving drunk is not a good idea, especially in Texas. Convicted drunk drivers will now be required to pay child support if they kill a child's guardian in the result of a crash. House Bill 393, which went into effect on Friday, says the convicted drunk driver will be expected to make payments to the child until they reach their 18th birthday or until the child graduates from high school. Texas state law defines intoxication manslaughter as a person operating a motor vehicle in a public place. That includes an aircraft, watercraft, or an amusement ride, and their intoxication causes the death of another by accident. Now, there are car accidents that do not fit this description, like the bus crash over in Bear Creek Township, Pennsylvania. 49 children and 2 adults were injured when a tow truck collided with a school bus. Police believe the 28-year-old driver of the tow truck was suffering a medical issue when his vehicle veered into the lane the bus was in, which led to a head-on crash. He and the 53-year-old bus driver suffered moderate injuries, and the 49 children aboard were all transported to the hospital with minor injuries. The NFL season kicks off tonight. Joel will keep you ready in Timeline Sports. Keep it right here.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Can't believe you're doing this alone. I've done it before. I remember. You threw your back out. How you holding up? Hand me that board. Nothing wrong with getting help. I'm good. I did it when Felicia left. I'll figure it out. I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying. If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence? Now you need my help. It can be a real pain sometimes, you know what? Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
The NFL season kicks off tonight in Kansas City as the defending champion takes on the Detroit Lions. NBC has your coverage. The Cowboys also kick off on NBC Sunday night in New York. The Cowboys rank third for the best chance in the NFC to make the Super Bowl. The Eagles earned the top spot, followed by the Niners. The Cowboys kick it off at 7:20. On a more somber note, former Cowboy GM Gil Brandt passed away last week. Brandt orchestrated moves making them champions in the 70s, most notably by hiring Hall of Fame coach Tom Landry. Brandt was 91. To quote the late Jimmy Buffett, breathe in, breathe out, move on, that's the mindset for the Rangers as their playoff hopes continue to sink away. The Rangers have gone from first to third in the division and barely holding on to the last wildcard spot after dropping a crucial series to the Astros this week. With tonight off, the team can regroup and prepare to host the lowly Athletics tomorrow at Globe Life. And as a preview to weekend's college games include North Texas taking on FIU, TCU looks to avenge last week's loss to Colorado as they host Nicholls State, and our very own Jason Hawley's Wolverines host UNLV, and the Longhorns take on Alabama in ESPN's Game of the Week. And that's your Timeline Sports.
Thank you so much. 23 people were injured Monday morning after a vehicle crashed into the wall of a Denny's in Houston. Police say none of the injuries are life-threatening, but some are severe. Matt Doherty reports.
Cell phone videos capture the pain and chaos in the moments immediately following the crash. Injured customers scramble for safety. Others help pull those who can't move out of the rubble. We blurred the faces of some who were injured and bloodied.
It was bad today.
79-year-old Roy Rodriguez and his 77-year-old wife Margaret were sitting in a booth near the back of the restaurant just before 11:30 this morning.
We were just about finished eating. We were drinking the coffee, and then all of a sudden, it come a storm.
The couple's booth was close to where the Jeep crashed through the building.
Because all of a sudden, it pow, pow, and the car was right there. And people scattered all over the place.
Roy and Margaret were both injured.
And blood, blood all over the place. I guess from dripping from here.
Roy was released from the hospital this evening, his wounds bandaged and his cuts stitched. His wife was taken to the medical center with more serious injuries. That's where she is tonight, with a gash in her possibly broken leg from a fallen beam. This is cell phone video of the driver of the Jeep, who Rosenberg police describe as a 30-year-old man. Here he is taking a sobriety test. We've blurred his face because he has not been charged with a crime.
The scariest thing was honestly seeing everyone bleeding from all over, and then a man squished underneath the table.
Yesenia Aguinaga took these cell phone videos. We spoke with her by phone.
And I was supposed to have sat on that side, to be honest, but I had let a family go ahead of me, and then I felt horrible for doing that.
She was seated on the other side of the restaurant with her father. Neither were hurt. Both were shaken, just like Roy, who finds it hard to believe this happened.
God didn't want us to get hurt, you know. We just didn't get hurt real bad.
Tonight, he's grateful that this wasn't much worse.
How did a bear end up in this Florida man's house? And what was it looking for? Find out after this.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutVaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Hey, boss. Okay.
I said I'm fine.
Me the bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
Man, it's lonely. Like, going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
The Country Bear Jamboree at Disney World is about 45 minutes away from Lake Mary, Florida. But this real three-legged bear had its own party on a Holmes Lanai in the Orlando suburb over the weekend. Haley Crumbleholm has a video of what happened.
Oh my God, I've never been this close to a bear.
13-year-old Joseph Diglio was watching TV Sunday. Barking from the family's dog, Bruno clued him in there was something outside.
Oh my God, there's a literal bear in our patio.
This is the hole the bear ripped open to get inside. And once in,
He went over here to the fridge and got 2 White Claws.
mango and strawberry, in case you were wondering.
Oh, look, he just opened the door. He's about to take the beer. He's about to take the beer.
And while the bear's ability to open the fridge was pretty cool, it was also kind of concerning.
Once I saw him open the fridge, I got scared that he could open the doors to like the houses.
I feel like I gotta lock all the doors now. Oh my God. Okay, I gotta go lock out my dog.
But it was ultimately barks from Bruno that scared the bear away.
Just part of living where we live, honestly.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the Newsfeed. We hope you enjoy some of the cooler weather coming to us next week. Have a great week and great news.